Someone who is casual in one area of life is likely to be casual in another area of life. So we know that Nadhim Zahawi was particularly casual with his tax affairs and paid a huge price. He suffered this enormous cost in paying a fine and paying back taxes to HMRC, and at the same time he lost his job as Chancellor. I mean, it's just madness that somebody who is Chancellor shouldn't have control over his own finances. It just, if you can't control what's in your own pocket, how on earth are you going to control what's in anybody else's? And now the Observer has done this very interesting splash on the front page, and then you turn to page 4 for even further information. Not a great deal in terms of the whistleblowing, but the whistleblowing is about the dangerously complicit culture in the Department of Education. It's like something out of St. Trinian's, isn't it? Oh goodness, bring back St. Trinian's to make the Department of Education buck itself up, tighten its belt, and get on with the real duty. And I'm going to read here: the source who worked in the private office of Nadhim Zahawi, the then Education Secretary, saw regular alerts crossing his desk. He said ministers and special advisers were trying to get away with spending as little as they could and hoping to make do rather than treating the problem with the urgency it required. So Raac was constantly passing the desk of Nadhim Zahawi along with presumably demands from HMRC, and it is simply abhorrent that this has gone on for so long and that suddenly a knee-jerk response closes 104 schools across the country, with other schools panicking about whether or not they have aerated or Raac concrete in their buildings. It's very difficult to identify because it wasn't properly recorded at the time. And it seems utterly, utterly absurd that we're in this position simply because of cost saving or clever ideas in the 1960s, 70s and 80s. Simply absurd. And even more absurd that we're in this position because the advice, the notifications were ignored by a twit like Nadhim Zahawi, who's already demonstrated his stupidity. And yet, as ever with stupid people in power, their influence is felt again and again and again, like a serious problem with. I was going to make a scatological reference. I won't. No, I shall restrain myself. Unlike Nadhim Zahawi, Nadhim Zahawi is fast becoming a sort of carbon copy of Matt Hancock, but outside the stationery cupboard rather than inside the stationery cupboard. "There's no room in here," says Matt Hancock. "The stationery cupboard is all his. It's all mine. And Gina, I can make room for you and a little pencil sharpener. Ooh, let's sharpen some pencils together and make this stationery cupboard move."